Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Puri Rajakacharya Ashtotar Satishri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, and welcome to Sri Caitanya Caritamrta with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Thursday, October 24th, 2024 in New York. And tonight we're starting with Adi-lila, chapter 10, text number, Tulsi Priya, you can remind me what the text was that I told you, and now I can't.
I have 57.
57, that's absolute. Oh, wait, we have 56. Let me look at my notes one more time here, just a moment. Sorry for the tech interruption previously. I have us having read text 56. Yes. Yes. My notes say that we had read 56.
We did, because we discussed Avirbhav and Avesh.
So text 57. Good. Text 57. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sakshate Sakala Bhakta Deke Nirvishesha Nakula Brahmachari Dehe Prabhura Avesha. The appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in every devotee's presence is called Sakshat. His appearance in Nakula Brahmachari as a symptom of special prowess is an example of Avesha. Pradyumna Brahmachari Tanra Age Namachila Nrsingananda Nama Prabhu Pachete Rakhila. The former Pradyumna Brahmachari was given the name Nrsingananda Brahmachari by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tanhate Haila Chaitanyara Avirbhava Alokika Aiche Prabhura Aneka Svabhava. In his body there were symptoms of Avirbhava. Such appearances are uncommon, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed many such pastimes through his different features. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 73-74, it is said that Nakula Brahmachari displayed the prowess, Avesha, and Pradyumna Brahmachari the appearance, Avirbhava, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many hundreds and thousands of devotees of Lord Chaitanya, among whom there are no special symptoms. But when a devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu functions with specific prowess, he displays the feature called Avesha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally spread the Sankirtan movement, and he advised all the inhabitants of Bharatvarsha to take up his cult and preach it all over the world. The visible bodily symptoms of devotees who follow such instructions are called Avesha. Srila Shivananda Sena observed such Avesha symptoms in Nakula Brahmachari who displayed symptoms exactly like those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Caitanya Caritamrta states that in the age of Kali, the only spiritual function is to broadcast the holy name of the Lord. But this function can be performed only by one who is actually empowered by Lord Krishna. The process by which a devotee is thus empowered is called avesha, or sometimes it is called shakti avesha. Pradyumna Brahmachari was formerly a resident of a village known as Piari Ganja in Kalna. There is a description of him in the Adi-lila of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, 2nd chapter, and in the Antyakanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapters 3 and 9. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, would you care to make some comments here? I can't think of anything from my side.
We Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshataya. We discussed these last time. Sakshat is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct visible appearance. Avesh is his appearance through manifestation of special potencies. When a devotee is especially empowered by the Lord, then we're seeing Avesh. And essentially it's clear from the purport here that, and well, even without the purport, but those some may need a purport, that Srila Prabhupada's activities were a extraordinary manifestation of Avesh or Shakti Avesh, empowerment with special potency to do wonderful things by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Avirbhav takes place when the Lord essentially takes over someone. The word used in the word meanings was possession, where someone essentially becomes possessed by the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they may laugh and cry and be able to say wonderful things. That's all. These are all signs of Avirbhav. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Yes. Right, moving on. Oh, Saraswati Mata says, Pranams Param Puji Maharaj. Can a devotee of Lord Chaitanya have all three features? Can we say Srila Prabhupada had all three?
No. Sakshat is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appearing. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made his appearance as the son of Shachi Devi in Navdvip, that was Sakshat. That's Krishna directly appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's ruled out. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't show that feature through others. He personally appears. That's Sakshat. Avesh, certainly. Avirbhav, in principle, I suppose the Avirbhav and Avesh could be both manifested, but the text doesn't mention it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was peeking ahead a bit, and it's interesting. Our next verse addresses this very point. That anyway, we can go ahead and read it. But
all right. Ashwadila Eshav Rasha Shen Shivananda Ishtari Kahiba Age Eshaba Ananda. Srila Shivananda saying, experienced the three features of Sakshat Avesh and Avirbhav. Later I shall vividly describe this transcendentally blissful subject. So he experienced them. That doesn't mean that he showed them. Sakshat can be experienced by a person who has avesh, but he doesn't manifest sakshat. So I guess I'm defending myself. Anyway.
The same thing occurred to me. I'll read the purport if it's okay.
Sure.
Srila Shivananda Sain has been described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj as follows. Shivananda Sena was a resident of Kumarahata, which is also known as Halisahara, and was a great devotee of the Lord. About 1.5 miles from Kumarahata is another village known as Kanchadapada, in which there are Gaura Gopal deities installed by Shivananda Sena, who also established a temple of Krishna Rai that is still existing. Shivananda Sena was the father of Paramananda Sena, who was also known as Puridas or Kavikarnapur. Paramananda Sena wrote in his Gaura Ganadesh Deepika 176 that two of the gopis of Vrindavan, whose former names were Vira and Duti, combined to become his father. Srila Shivananda Sena guided all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, who went from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, and he personally bore all the expenses for their journey. This is described in the Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi-lila, chapter 16, verses 19 through 27. Srila Shivananda Sena had 3 sons, named Chaitanya Das, Ramadas, and Paramananda. As mentioned above, this last son later became Kavikarnapur and wrote the Gaura Ganadesh Deepika. His spiritual master was Srinath Pandit, who was Shivananda Sena's priest. Due to Vasudev Dutta's lavish spending, Shivananda Sena was engaged to supervise his expenditures. Sri Shivananda Sena actually experienced Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's features of Sakshat Avesha and Avirbhava. He once took along a dog while on his way to Jagannath Puri, and it is described in the Adi-lila 1st chapter that this dog later attained salvation by his association. When Srila Raghunath Das, who later became Raghunath Das Goswami, fled his paternal home to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his father wrote a letter to Shivananda Sena to get information about him. Shivananda Sena supplied him the details for which he asked, and later Raghunath Das Goswami's father sent some servants and money to Shivananda Sena to take care of Raghunath Das Goswami. Once Sri Shivananda Sena invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home and fed him so sumptuously that the Lord felt indigestion and was somewhat sick. This became known to Shivananda Sena's eldest son, Chaitanya Das, who gave the Lord the kinds of food that would help his digestion, and thus Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. This is described in Adi-lila, 10th chapter, verses 142 through 151. Any comments on this so far, Maharaj?
We don't hear much about Srinath Chakravarti, the spiritual master of Kavikarnapur, but he's we often hear the verse. One verse he composed, Araja Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanya Tatam Vrindavan. One can learn more about him from the book by Gopinath Acharya Prabhu from Oxford concerning Kavikarnapur. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Once, while going to Jagannath Puri, all the devotees had to stay underneath a tree without the shelter of a house or even a shed. And Nityananda Prabhu became very angry, as if he were greatly disturbed by hunger. Thus he cursed Shivananda's sons to die. Shivananda's wife was very much aggrieved at this, and she began to cry. She very seriously thought that since her sons had been cursed by Nityananda Prabhu, certainly they would die. When Shivananda later returned and saw his wife crying, he said, "Why are you crying? Let us all die if Sri Nityananda Prabhu desires." When Shivananda Sena returned and Srila Nityananda Prabhu saw him, the Lord kicked him severely, complaining that he was very hungry and asked why he had not arranged for his food. Such is the behavior of the Lord with his devotees. Srila Nityananda Prabhu behaved like an ordinary hungry man, as if completely dependent on the arrangements of Shivananda Sena. A nephew of Shivananda Sena's named Sri Kanta left the company in protest of Nityananda Prabhu's curse and went directly to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, where the Lord pacified him. On that occasion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed his toe to be sucked by Puri Das, who was then a child. It is by the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he could immediately compose Sanskrit verses. During the misunderstanding with Shivananda's family, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered his personal attendant, Govinda, to give them all the remnants of his food. This is described in Adi-lila, chapter 12, verse 53. I've mentioned this before when we're reading these pastimes, that there's only so much that you can tell in the confines of a book, unless it's unlimitedly large. And we can only imagine that since we're hearing the highlights of these pastimes of the Lord and his devotees, that all the rest of it must have been great as well. But as Srila Kaviraj Goswami has said, it would unnecessarily increase the volume of this book if we were to include everything.
Later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, the author several times says, that in every place, at every moment, there were unlimited pastimes, but who can describe them all? So he summarizes.
Hare Krishna. Radhesha Prabhu, are you working, driving, able to read, unable to read?
I'm currently at home, but I just put a question into the chat box. I was curious, Guru Maharaj, what you had said in relation to Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajeshatanesta Dhama Vrindavan. There was some.
The point was, generally we don't hear much about Srinath Chakravarti, although he has written commentaries.
Oh.
But this verse is very famous among the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada cites it multiple times. So that was the only point. And then if you want to learn more about Srinath Chakravarti, then Gopinath Acharya's book is there.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Question from Saraswati Mata. Was Lord Nityananda's hangry mood a blessing as the devotees received Lord Chaitanya's prasadam remnants?
Everything from Nityananda Prabhu is a blessing.
Right.
If he kicked Shivananda Sena, that was a blessing also. And what is that? Where Narottam's Narottama Das please don't kick me away. Prabhupada says even Krishna kicks us. That's also fortunate. Kali got kicked by the feet of Krishna. So he was even Brahma said, what did he do to deserve such mercy? I couldn't get the dust of Krishna's feet on my head like that. On my heads.
Hare Krishna. Radhesha Prabhu, if you'd like, please continue with our text number 61.
Text 61. Shivanande Rupa Shaka Tandra Parikara Putra Bhrityari Kari Chaitanya Kinkara. The sons, servants, and family members of Shivananda Sen constituted a sub-branch. They were all sincere servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Dasa Ramadasa Ara Karnapura Tina Putra Shivanandera Prabhura Bhakti Sura. The three sons of Shivananda Sen, named Chaitanya Das, Ram Das, and Karnapura, were all heroic devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Das, the eldest son of Shivananda Sen, wrote a commentary on Krishna Caritamrta, which was later translated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his paper Sajjanatoshani. According to expert opinion, Chaitanya Das was the author of the book Caitanya Caritamrta, which was written in Sanskrit. The author was not Kavi Karnapur as generally supposed. This is the opinion of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Sri Ram Das was the second son of Shivananda Sen. It is stated in the Gauraganodesha Deepika that two experienced servants of Lord Krishna, named Shuka and Daksha in Krishna-lila, became the elder brothers of Kavi Karnapur, namely Chaitanya Das and Ram Das. Karnapura, the third son, who was also known as Paramananda Das or Puri Das, was initiated by Srinath Pandit, who was a disciple of Jayadvaita Prabhu. Karnapura wrote many books that are important in Vaishnava literature, such as Ananda Vrindavana Champu, Alankara Kaushtubha, Gauraganodesha Deepika, and the great epic Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka. He was born in the year Shakabda 1448. He continually wrote books for 10 years, from 1488 until 1499. I don't have anything to comment on this purport. Very wonderful to hear the history and interesting to hear disputes over who authored certain famous books, and nice to have Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's opinion. But Guru Maharaj, do you have something on this purport?
Just that these topics have also, of course, been covered by Gopinath Acharya in his book. Hare Krishna.
Shri Vallabhasena Arasena Shrikanta Shivananda Sambandhe Prabhura Bhakte Kanta. Shri Vallabhasena and Shrikanta Sena were also sub-branches of Shivananda Sen, for they were not only his nephews but also unalloyed devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu rebuked Shivananda Sena on the way to Puri, these two nephews of Shivananda left the company as a protest and went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. The Lord could understand the feelings of the boys, and he asked his personal assistant Govinda to supply them prasad until the party of Shivananda arrived. During the Ratha Yatra Sankirtan festival, these two brothers were members of the party led by Mukunda. In the Gauraganodesha Deepika, it is said that the gopi whose name was Katyayani appeared as Shrikanta Sena. So it seems that the rebuke of Nityananda Prabhu didn't go unnoticed by the two boys, and in protest they ran ahead, and the Lord consoled them and gave them some prasadam. So very nice. Anything here? All right. Text 64. Prabhu Priya Govindananda Mahabhagavata Prabhura Kirtaniya Adi Shri Govinda Datta. Govindananda and Govinda Datta, the 25th and 26th branches of the tree, were performers of Kirtan in the company of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda Datta was the principal singer in Lord Chaitanya's Kirtan party. Purport: Govinda Datta appeared in the village of Shukachara near Kardagdaha. Shri Vijayadasa Nama Prabhura Akariya Prabhure Aneka Punti Diache Likiya. Shri Vijayadas, the 27th branch, another of the Lord's chief singers, gave the Lord many books written by hand. Formerly there were no printing presses nor printed books. All books were handwritten. Precious books were kept in manuscript form in temples or important places, and anyone who was interested in a book had to copy it by hand. Vijayadas was a professional writer who copied many manuscripts and gave them to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Gurudas Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namani. I do want to say something about this purport. It is nice to be reminded of the difficulties of early printing. And this is the extreme example, having to hand copy so many books. But I know in Guru Maharaj, in your history of participating in the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, there were times in the early days of Srila Prabhupada's movement in which the printing press, it was a very difficult procedure, especially getting diacritics, getting special typesetting machines that could display diacritics, and now we have it so easy with our computers. And I remember recently I tried to contact Murari Gupta, Murari Best, and on the Big Island of Hawaii. I tried to see if he could update his old program for typing diacritics, and he said that he wouldn't. And the old version only displays on old versions of Word. And so I have to pull out my old computer and I type diacritics on that, and it's a little clunky and difficult. And I think, oh, my life is so difficult with this system. And then I think back, especially in this example here in Caitanya Caritamrta, how much more difficult it is. You have to hand copy books that you want to hold on to. So we have at our fingertips a wealth of information. We can put all of the Vaishnav literature on one Kindle. It's made life so easy, and I was going to say but I've become so lazy that it's sometimes difficult to garner the enthusiasm to pick up these books and read them when they're so easily available to me. I don't even have to rewrite them. So sorry for the long-winded commentary, but I appreciate the endeavor of these devotees and rendering the service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I'm amazed at how easy it's been made for us, and we should take advantage.
Two things. One is technical, that anyone wanting to have diacritics on pretty much any platform these days can do it. It's built into, that capability is built into the Mac. It's available on, it's available on Linux, more or less included, and on Windows it's also available. There's a program, I think it's Murari's program, Diac Uni, I think that's what it's called, which gives the old system of, his original system, but instead of rendering diacritics for Balaram or other outmoded fonts, it puts them into Unicode, which anyone can read. So there should be no difficulty today for anyone who wants to use
just a matter of typing it. The speed of typing, his program only works on 2003 Word or older. The semicolon, where you press the semicolon and it formats your keyboard. So I'm very quick at typing diacritics with his old program, but now I have to format my own more clunky system with like Alt and Control and then the letters. But anyway, small detail.
You can look in the BBT style guide and see if it offers an alternative. Otherwise, I'm sure that there are other ways to do it. On Unix, it's easy. Linux, it's easy. The other thing is just to note that what we're seeing here mentioned is essentially a scribal tradition. We're used to hearing about scribes in medieval times and illuminated manuscripts and all of that sort of stuff. But it's found here, of course, in the Gaudiya tradition, where we even have a professional person, Sri Vijaydas. He was a professional writer, which means, I think, a professional scribe. It doesn't mean that he was writing original text, but he was copying manuscripts. So this was a profession back in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Murari Gupta Prabhu asks, Hare Krishna Maharaj, what does a sub-branch mean as opposed to a branch? Does ISKCON have sub-branches?
Shishya Upashishya. Or Shishya Prashishya, right? Shishya Prashishya, I think that's the term used. You can look it up, Caitanya Caritamrta. A branch is, in this context, they were the original disciples or followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then they had sub-branches, just like we hear that Shivananda Sain had 3 sons, so the 3 sons were sub-branches. We hear about this throughout the text. Maybe you can find that verse, Shishya Prashishya. I can look it up also. And ISKCON certainly has branches and sub-branches. All the disciples of Prabhupada are sub-branches, and then they have their sub-branch. They have their sub-branches. So you get to branch, sub-branch, and so on. Did you find that verse?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the verse. It disappeared. So Adi 9:24, Shishya Prashishya, our Upashishyagan, Jagad Vyapilo Tar Nakilo Gunam. The disciples and grand disciples and their admirers spread throughout the entire world, and it's not possible to enumerate them. So Shishya is the disciple, and Prashishya, the grand disciples, and Upashishya. So they're apparently not disciples, but admirers, almost disciples, Upashishya. Maybe even aspiring disciples. Anyway, Upashishya, they're not quite disciples, so they're described as admirers. So these are the branches, and that's after 23, branches and sub-branches, and their sub-branches. Padashaka, Upashaka, Tar Upashaka. So branches, and then their branches, and then their branches. So that's sub-branches and sub-branches, or Shishya Prashishya.
Yes. Ross Prabhu, would you like to pick up with our text number 66?
That's 66, Prabhu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ratna Bahu Bali Prabhu Tula Tanra Nama Akinchana Prabhura Priya Krishna Das Nama. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Vijaydas the name Ratna Bahu, jewel-handed, because he copied many manuscripts for him. The 28th branch was Krishnadas, who was very dear to the Lord. He was known as Akinchana Krishnadas. Purport: Akinchana means one who possesses nothing in this world.
You can go on if you like.
Yeah. Boda Vecha Sridhara Prabhura Priyadas Yan Sane Prabhu Karanitya Harihas. Translation. The 29th branch was Sridhar, a trader in banana tree bark. He was a very dear servant of the Lord. On many occasions, the Lord played jokes on him. Purport: Sridhar was a poor Brahmana who made a living by selling banana tree bark to be made into cups. Most probably, he had a banana tree garden and collected the leaves, skin, and pulp of the banana trees to sell daily in the market. He spent 50% of his income to worship the Ganges, and the balance he used was for his subsistence. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his civil disobedience movement in defiance of the Qazi, Sridhar danced in jubilation. The Lord used to drink water from his water jug. Sridhar presented a squash to Sashi Devi to cook before Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. Every year he went to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. According to Kavi Karnapura, Sridhar was a cowherd boy of Vrindavan, whose name was Kusumasvara. In his Gora Gonadesh Dipika 133, it is stated, Kola Vechataya Kyata Pandita Sridharo Bija Asidraje Asya Karo Yo Namna Kusumasava. The cowherd boy known as Kusumasava in Krishna-lila later became Kolavecha Sridhar during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila at Navadvip.
Thank you, Prabhu. Maharaj, would you care to say anything here?
Well, there's so much that could be said about Kolavecha Sridhar and the sweet pastimes between him and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When it's said that he was played jokes, I don't think the meaning is like practical jokes, but there were joking pastimes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would beg from him, and Kolavecha Sridhar would be in a tough situation. His boy is taking everything, but he would give out of love and affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Go further. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Ras Prabhu, you want to read another verse?
Yes. Okay. Prabhu Yanra Nityalaya Godamatra Pala Yanra Futala Patre Prabhu Pila Jala. Translation: Every day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jokingly snatched fruits, flowers, and pulp from Sridhar and drank from his broken iron pot.
So he not only begged, he stole.
Venkatesh Prabhu says, Kolavecha Sridhar's house is still here near Rajapur Jagannath Temple in Mayapur.
Yes.
Venkatesh Prabhu, would you like to read our next verse, number 69, and maybe even 70?
Could I get 5 minutes, please?
Oh, sure. No problem. I'll read our 69 here. Prabhura Ati Priyadasa Bhagavan Pandita Yanrade Krishna Purve Haila Adhistita. The 30th branch was Bhagavan Pandit. He was an extremely dear servant of the Lord, but even previously he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, who always kept the Lord within his heart. Jagadisha Pandita Ara Hiranya Mahashaya Yare Kripa Kaila Balye Prabhu Dayamaya. The 31st branch was Jagadish Pandit, and the 32nd was Hiranya Mahashaya, unto whom Lord Chaitanya in his childhood showed his causeless mercy. Jagadish Pandit was formerly a great dancer in Krishna-lila and was known as Chandrahasa. Regarding Hiranya Pandit, it is said that once when Lord Nityananda, decorated with valuable jewels, was staying at his home, all night long a great thief attempted to plunder these jewels, but was unsuccessful. Later he came to Nityananda Prabhu and surrendered unto him.
That reminds me of a question a devotee once asked, maybe 26 2nd Avenue, that Prabhupada told that story, of course, about how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a child, two thieves kidnapped him with the intention of stealing his jewels. But by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Yoga Maya, instead of absconding and further away, they came around in a circle and wound up back at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house, where everyone was looking for him. And so the thieves hastily left him there. So one devotee asked, Srila Prabhupada, were those two thieves liberated souls? And Prabhupada said, at least after they carried Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So text 71, Venkatesh Prabhu, are you ready?
Yes. Did you say text 67?
We are on 71.
Oh, 71. I'm sorry. I was referring the chat. So.
Right. Yeah, I missed a few. I was reading, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'll post it just a moment. Hare Krishna.
Uh-huh. Yeah, is it 71?
Yes, 71, Prabhu.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I opened it online. Yes, thank you. E dui ghare Prabhu ekadashi dine Vishnura naivedya magi khai lapane. In their two houses, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged food on the Ekadashi day and personally ate it. The injunction to fast on Ekadashi especially meant for devotees. On Ekadashi, there are no restrictions regarding food that may be offered to the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the food of Lord Vishnu in ecstasy as Vishnu Tattva. Yeah, I mean, I have a question. The first statement is that the injunction to fast on Ekadashi is especially meant for devotees, and in the second, Prabhupada is saying that Ekadashi there are no restrictions regarding food that may be offered to the Lord. How to understand this, Mara?
Krishna doesn't have to fast.
Oh, okay.
You'd like to read some more, please?
Okay. Text 72. Prabhura Paduya Dui Purushottama Sanjaya Vyakarne Dui Shishya Dui Mahasaya. The 33rd and 34th branches were the two students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu named Purushottam and Sanjaya, who were stalwart students in grammar. They were very great personalities. These students were inhabitants of Navadvip and were the Lord's first companions in the Sankirtan movement. According to the Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Purushottam Sanjay was the son of Mukunda Sanjay, but the author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta has clarified that Purushottama and Sanjaya were two people, not one. Nice. So, further details about associates of Mahaprabhu. This time there are two students' names who are mentioned. As we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a teacher of Sanskrit grammar, and Navadvip was a seat of learning. So here the two students' names were mentioned. Maybe they were very famous in Navadvip at that time. And here it's also mentioned there are two great personalities. Maybe somewhere else people might have thought that Purushottam was one person. But here it is clarified by the author of Chaitanya Caritamrta that Purushottam and Sanjay were two different people. One more?
Sure.
Text 73. Vanamali Pandita Saka Vikhyata Jagate Sonara Masulahala Dekila Prabhu Rahate. Vanamali Pandit, the 35th branch of the tree, was very much celebrated in this world. He saw a golden club and plough in the hands of the Lord. Vanamali Pandit saw Lord Chaitanya in the ecstasy of Balaram. This is described vividly in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, Antyakanda, chapter 9. So Mahaprabhu was revealing himself as per the devotees' inclination or their mood. So Mahaprabhu revealed himself in different forms to different devotees. So Vanamali Pandit was a devotee in the mood in which Lord Balram was shown to him. Golden club and plough, these are the two objects which Lord Balram carries in his hand.
Thank you, Prabhu. I wanted to pause just and see, Maharaj, do you want to say anything here?
No.
Priti Purnamadavi Devi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, are our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas coming directly from one of these branches shared in these verses?
They're coming from different ways. Let me just think about it. Some of them are mentioned, that this is like Kavi Karnapur is mentioned, and how he descends. There's a reference in my mind, but I'm forgetting it. But they're all coming down from the Gaudiya line, means followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so they're all coming in different directions. Some are coming from the Nityananda Parivar, some are coming from the Dvaita Parivar, some are coming this way, some are coming that way.
Thank you, Maharaj. And anything more on this? We're almost at our top of the hour here, and I was going to see whether, Maharaj, if you have sufficient manpower there to lead a kirtan, or should I?
Yes, but I will have the band.
Oh, great.
All right, Caitanya Caritamrta.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srimad Purnamanasu Parivrajaka Acharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Nam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Dev Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Shamanamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Dev Jai. Bhakti ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to you, Samaveta. All glories to you, Samaveta. All glories to you, Samaveta.
Hari Haribo. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you to your Kirtan group. And thank you everyone for participating, listening, hearing, speaking. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari